This week, Siskel and Ebert review screwball actors colliding with stage-struck mobsters in Woody Allen's Bullets Over Broadway. Harvey Keitel finds he can't scam his family in Imaginary Crimes. And problems on the set get way out of hand in Radioland Murders.
Past 7 this evening, young Walt Whalen Jr. was found hanging in an empty studio. The apparent cause of death, suicide.
My son didn't have enough courage to commit suicide. It was murder.
It's opening night for the national broadcast of radio station WBN, and big trouble. Somebody is killing the employees one by one in Radioland Murders, produced by George Lucas, and it's one of 5 new films we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert, along with Woody Allen's latest and Harvey Keitel's newest picture, too. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Slapstick comedy is very loud and very broad, and yet it requires a delicate touch, and few films demonstrate that better than Radioland Murders, precisely because it doesn't have a delicate touch, or much of any touch at all, for that matter. The movie takes place in Chicago in 1939, when a new radio network is about to go on the air. Backstage is pure bedlam as production secretary Mary Stuart Masterson sends a messenger racing to the writers' department.
Keep going.
Watch it, Billy.
This new ending's gonna knock him down.
Bobcat Goldthwait plays one of a team of writers who have been forced to rewrite months of work in half an hour.
What if the wife smashes him over the head with the frying pan, then chops him in hundreds of tiny little pieces with her shiny new carving knife?
No, I don't think so. You can't.
It's a family show. Okay, well then, what if she does it to the whole family?
No!
Meanwhile, the first of several deaths has taken place at the station, and Police Lieutenant Michael Lerner is in charge.
You sent for me?
Maybe. Who are you?
I'm Claudette Kassenbeck, the va-va-va-voom girl with the va-va-va-voom voice. Who the hell are you?
I'm Lieutenant Cross, the Chicago cop with the short temper.
The head writer, played by Brian Benben of HBO's Dream On, is one of the chief suspects, and he tries to disguise himself as the chaotic broadcast grinds ahead.
Get back here!
Billy?
Radioland Murders is a terrific-looking production that cuts no corners in recreating the glory days of network radio, and the cast works hard, maybe too hard, to generate the frantic energy of a network premiere combined with a murder spree. But the movie is more exhausting than it is funny, and finally gets monotonous watching all these people running around and screaming. Comedy, even slapstick comedy, depends on characters more than simple physical activity, and Radioland Murders never slows down enough to realize that.
Oh, I agree with you, Roger. That's exactly the problem with the picture. It's all decor and all movement, and very similar movement. People are always bumping into each other in halls. Nobody can get anywhere through a sentence, through a hallway, without having it be funny. And at a quick point, I'd say 20 minutes into this picture, I was worn out.
I was too. It's a kind of a disappointment too, because they had the cast in place, they had the set in place, they didn't have a script that was worth filming.
They didn't write a single compelling character. Okay, next movie, and here's something equally colorful, but a whole lot more substantial. I like it like that, a portrait of city life focusing on a young mother who has to grapple with making ends meet and raising 3 kids after her husband goes off to jail for some impulsive looting. Lauren Velez plays the mom, and here she's trying to discipline her older son for copycat behavior.
Well, I gotta treat you like a baby, Steve. Your father's not here. That makes you the man of the house, right?
Yes, so?
So, if you act like a man, I'm gonna treat you like a man. But if you mess up like Steve, but if you're not gonna be a man in my eyes anymore.
Poppy stole that stereo. You saying he ain't a man? Huh?
That's a good scene, but here's one that's a little corny as she tries to get a job with a record company by helping the boss, Griffin Dunn, land a singing group that she's a fan of. Dunn would prefer that she were simply window dressing, but she has a mind.
Price was telling us you have some ideas for our group.
I do. I do.
Yeah, we're thinking about marketing.
Price. Better talk.
Here's a better moment after the husband, John Seda, comes home from jail. Both are upset about possible infidelities.
I gotta watch the kids all day. You're watching them at night.
Oh, what? So you can hang out with Magdalena?
No, I'm getting a night job. And just because I'm not gonna be here at night, don't think you can bring your friends over here, right? The kids don't need to see
Yeah,
that.
well, I'm paying half of the rent, okay? So I don't want you bringing your friends over here either. Come on, let's go.
The father's story is generous enough in this picture to reveal the pressures on him when he's in charge of the kids and he can't take it.
Pick it up.
You ain't a man.
What?
You're a punk and I'm more little than you. All you can do is hit me with that belt.
I Like It Like That is a first feature film from an energetic new director, a young woman named Darnell Martin, and she directs like a lot of motivated first-timers, packing every shot as if it might be her last. I'm giving thumbs up to I Like It Like That, but if I could give director Martin some advice, I'd say that she does excel with quieter moments in this film, and I hope in her next film we're going to get a lot more of them.
Maybe she was just trying to get everybody's attention with this first picture.
Yes.
She worked as an apprentice under Spike Lee, and she probably got some of that energy from him, but she has a view all of her own, and the way that she shows this woman who does, as you say, have a mind of her own,
Yes.
and makes a career for herself, and survives and prevails and deals with this wild galaxy of characters is very, very colorful.
Now, here's an interesting case, just the opposite in a way of Radioland Murders.
Yeah.
Here's a picture where they do have the richness of the two lead characters, and you will follow them anywhere. And she has too much frantic stuff, you know, going on, I think, around them. It's still a good picture.
But because the characters are strong, it works. If there's one weakness, it's that mother is never really shown as connecting with her children. They're just kind of an annoyance all the time, and I think maybe the director wasn't really interested in the character as a mother so much as she was interested in the other aspects.
Yeah.
When we come back, Woody Allen's backstage farce, Bullets Over Broadway.
2 martinis, please, very dry.
How'd you know what I drank?
Oh, you want 1 too? 3.
Now, Simmered for Hours flavor can be yours in minutes with new Campbell's Simmer Chef cooking sauces. They're simmer sealed to lock in all the flavor. New Campbell's Simmer Chef. Simmer sealed for Simmered for Hours flavor.
This is a square inch. A wheat thin is the most real food deliciousness you can get in a square inch. The most genuine toastiness. The most crunchiness, the most munchiness. Wheat Thins, the most taste you can get in a square inch.
Ready? Snackwell's chocolate sandwich cookies. A delicious way to cut the fat.
Unbelievable. What if I can't pick enough of these? Those women will be after me again.
Relax. Go home.
Hello, Cookie Man. What's in the box?
Snackwells. Enjoy them all.
Introducing the greatest thing that's happened to a sandwich since sliced bread. New Vlasic sandwich stackers. Ham up your ham.
Wow.
Make your tikey pikey.
Wow.
Pep it up with new sandwich stackers from Vlasic. The perfect pickle to stack.
Now, my darling, do you want some milk or something, shall we?
Oh, here's a saucer.
Oh, no, you don't have to bother with that because I breastfeed her. Just kidding, everybody.
Tracy Ullman plays a dizzy and desperate actress, and John Cusack plays the earnest young writer of a new play in Woody Allen's new comedy, Bullets Over Broadway. It's a funny coincidence that the backstage radio comedy, Radioland Murders, would open the same week as Woody Allen's backstage theatrical comedy, but all it proves is that Allen has returned to his classic comic form in his funniest movie in years. This movie does know that you have to make the characters into people before you can make them funny. In the film, which is set around 1929, Cusack is the serious young writer of a badly confused new play, and Diane Wiest is the legendary grande dame of the theater who has her eye on the playwright and on her own Broadway comeback.
I'm used to playing more overtly heroic women. Less tentative, more alluring, certainly not frigid.
No, yes. Well, Sylvia Poston is a mass of neuroses.
In spite of the fact that I could really find nothing at all in the play to brighten her up, no real passion, no seductiveness,
Nothing?
I still think that she's worth playing.
Well, we could work it over, and maybe a touch here or there could be added or changed to make sure that you're...
No. I wouldn't dream
comfortable.
of you changing a word of your work for me. I mean, God, who am I? Some vain Broadway legend. You're a budding Chekhov.
The play has been financed by a rich gangster who insists that his girlfriend, played here by Jennifer Tilly, have a big part. Tilly's bodyguard is played by Chaz Palminteri, and the movie's inspired twist is that the bodyguard instinctively knows more about the theater than anyone else involved in the production.
You're allowed to add things. It's called ad-libbing.
You can't do that.
I can do that. What do you know? You don't know nothing. Shut up and read.
I think the whole thing stinks,
I think
all right?
you're a degenerate zombie. Shut up and read.
Shut up.
You shut up and read.
Meanwhile, Cusack's life falls apart as the bodyguard takes control of the play, and Cusack's girlfriend suspects he's having an affair with the older actress.
What about this?
That's a cigarette case I found. I don't know where I found it.
To Helen from Cole. Let's do it.
I remember now. I admired it, and she gave
Why
it to me.
didn't you tell me?
Because there's nothing to tell, Ellen.
Bullets Over Broadway is very funny, but it's also very sly. You can read it as a comedy, but you can also sense that in a subtle way, Woody Allen is making some comments here about his own role as an artist. Is he the Cusack character who is earnest and committed but finally lacking in talent? Or the gangster who is willing to follow the demands of art to their logical conclusion? You can have fun figuring that one out, and fun all the way through Bullets Over Broadway, which has a lot of big laughs and a couple of great big laughs.
Well, it has this one wonderful character. That's why I like the picture, the Chaz Palminteri character. The other kinds of characters I think we've seen before in terms of backstage farce and that kind of thing. But this character of this thug, who happens to be street smart and, as we learn, playwright smart, that's special. And he keeps building, I mean, he's a wonderful writer, and the way he builds this character, so that at first we think he's going to be a minor player in this piece, and then he keeps adding at steady increments so that this guy takes, as you said,
Until
takes over
he finally arrives
well,
at a moment of decision
I know.
that really brings the house down. It really does.
That's what's so special about this
And
film.
you know, in terms of Allen's whole career, he's gotten into this subject matter before, where he talks about whether or not certain kinds of antisocial behavior are justified. For example, the murder in Crimes and Misdemeanors. Or what's happened in his own life in the last couple of years when he said at a press conference, the heart has its reasons. And here he indicates that there are certain reasons that for some people will justify almost anything. Now that can lead you to a long debate. We don't have time for that now. But you're right, the character is terrific and the movie is funny.
The character is an original. Coming up next, Harvey Keitel, fresh from the piano in Pulp Fiction, stars in a drama about a father who is a con man but loves his children. Imaginary Crimes is next.
Now, if you ladies would have a seat. Voila! Ladies, I present to you the Finders Keepers.
That's Harvey Keitel as a dreamer and a con man raising a family in Imaginary Crimes, the latest fine piece of acting from Keitel, who is as busy as any actor today and almost always taking a risk with a performance. The risk here in Imaginary Crimes, Keitel plays a guy who talks a good game, both about parenting and about striking it rich, but he can't seem to deliver on any promise. Here he tells his daughters that they'll be rich someday on his mining claims.
Besides, Sonia, someday these claims will belong to you and Greta, and you will need to come up here on your own to check on the operation.
Oh, that's right, I forgot.
As a release from pressure at home, the oldest daughter, played well by Fairuza Balk, throws herself into her schoolwork under the supervision of a fine teacher played by one of our very best little-known actors, Vincent D'Onofrio.
I noticed you haven't signed up for the college exams. You do plan on going, don't you? To college, I mean.
No, Mr. Webster, actually I don't. You see, things are just a little complicated at home.
As for Keitel's character, well, he can be a real salesman when he wants to, and he usually wants to, as in this flashback.
Daddy, what's under there?
Baby, you are looking at Daddy's first million.
But it turns out that Keitel has been defrauding his investors. That forces a confrontation between father and daughter.
I stood by you girls, and now I'm asking you to stick by me.
Maybe we would have been better off without you.
Imaginary Crimes is powerful because the story never turns sweet and rounds off its rough edges, which is sort of what we would expect in a Hollywood production of the same story. This is a film about a daughter growing up to have the courage to hold her father responsible for his actions. It's based on a true story, we're told, and it does have at times the power of a documentary. As for Harvey Keitel, well, he's really in top form now. taking his work and his characters seriously. Imaginary Crime shows him not falling into the common star trap of only wanting to play characters who are likable. Imaginary Crime's a memorable film, if not a memorable title.
Yeah, the title isn't so great,
No.
but the movie sure is. And you know, it reminded me of a couple of other good movies, too. First of all, King of the Hill, in the sense of these kids who are trying to operate by themselves in an adult world and kind of often with an absent parent.
Yes,
and then also This Boy's Life, which was about a kid trying to deal with a father who is obviously off somewhere. Now, the catch here is that the father loves them. He's desperately trying to be a good single father to them after the mother has died, and he does the best he can, but he's an inveterate con man, and he simply cannot tell the truth.
You know what I'm talking about not rounding things off and making it all sweet at the end? In other words, this woman has come to this position, and the act of telling this story, we get a feeling as she tells us this story, it's doing something for her.
You know, here's a character who spends the whole movie saying that he's going to find these mining claims somewhere, and he sells shares and stocks and defrauds people. I can easily see a Hollywood studio saying, well, let's change the end and have him discover gold, and then they'll all be rich. Wouldn't that be a better ending? Wouldn't that be terrific?
There you go. That's what I thought was going to happen. When we come back, a day in the life of a couple of less than dedicated convenience store clerks.
You know you can get salmonella poisoning from bacteria in undercooked food, like some chicken or fish. But you can also get it if that bacteria has been spread around the kitchen. That's why there's new Lysol antibacterial kitchen cleaner. As it cleans, it kills the bacteria and keeps them from spreading, which may help keep you from getting sick. Get new Lysol antibacterial kitchen cleaner.
After you clean your floor, does it feel sticky? Try new Mop & Glow Floor Cleaner. It cleans in one step and doesn't leave a sticky residue, so there's no need to rinse. With new Mop & Glow No Rinse Floor Cleaner, you won't get stuck having to rinse.
Yummy! My favorite, fried dumplings.
And soy sauce.
Wait till Mom sees.
That's okay.
It is?
Sure it is.
She uses Advanced Formula Resolve Carpet Cleaner. So advanced, it even gets out greasy combination stains.
Oh, boy.
Get Resolve with DuPont Teflon.
That's okay.
Our next movie was a sleeper hit at this year's Cannes Film Festival, and seeing it a second time recently, I appreciated even more what director Kevin Smith has been able to do with a rock-bottom budget and a first-class comic imagination in the film Clerks. His movie tells the story of a couple of friends who work as clerks in a strip mall, one in a convenience store, the other in a video store. Their work is basically a distraction from the really important things in life, like girlfriends and random, aimless gossip. The clerks are played by Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson, and the rhythm of their day consists of boredom punctuated by incredulity.
I could do without the people in the video store.
Do you have that one with that guy who was in that movie that was out last year?
You should hear the barrage of stupid questions I get.
What do you mean there's noise? You mean I gotta drink this coffee hot?
The convenience store clerk has his share of romantic hassles from his current girlfriend, played by Marilyn Gigliotti.
You slept with 12 different girls.
Including you? Yes.
Ow, what'd you do that for?
You're a pig!
Why'd you hit
Do you
me?
know how many different men I've had sex with?
Oh, do I get to hit you after you tell me?
And he also has problems with his former girlfriend, played by Lisa Spoonhour.
The Dante Hicks dinner and movie date. I think I've been on that one before.
You have a better suggestion?
Well, how about the Caitlin Bree walk on the boardwalk, then get naked somewhere kind of private date?
I hear that's kind of a popular date.
A lot of attention has been paid recently to the quality of the dialogue in Pulp Fiction, but Kevin Smith has the same ear for colorful speech. His characters are dropouts from Generation X, looking at life with a great deal of dubious distrust and talking about love and marriage as if they were anthropologists from another planet. Clerks is scruffy and unkempt and ill-behaved and doggedly funny, very funny.
Well, I thought so too, and it's amazing what you can do if you have an ear for dialogue. This picture is as minimal as it gets. We're inside the store, people walk in and out, and they are just funny. It is life closely observed. It is raw, it's foul-mouthed. People should be aware of that.
Yes, it is.
And these are funny characters, and you know that these people exist. I mean, that's the reality that this picture gets, and we see writing where people try and get close to this, and again, round off all the corners. Again, this is raw documentary-like.
What the movie shows is what it's like to have a job in our society now. So often in the movies, the only jobs we see are cops and robbers and prostitutes and kings and queens.
Nobody has a working life.
Here's a guy that has to open up before dawn in the morning and stay there until late at night, and he works hard.
And the video store is next door, and there's running back and forth. It's good. When we come back, my video pick of the week, an AIDS drama that is a whole lot more powerful than the big budget hit Philadelphia.
Orville Redenbacher created a new bag so more of his big, fluffy, irresistible butterfly kernels could pop than ever before. How much more? Let's put it this way. You'll notice Orville Redenbacher's new, bigger bag. Make room for it.
It has an abundant number of safety components, including dual airbags with terminals plated in gold to protect against corrosion, steel guard beams in all 4 doors, and crumple zones built into its structure. In an image-is-everything world, we proudly present the substance is everything car. Introducing the new Maxima from Nissan.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer for the Money Store. Does it seem like the weekend is the only time to take care of personal business? The problem is that when you're off, just about everyone else is too, but not at the Money Store. If you're thinking about refinancing your home, you can call the Money Store this weekend and apply by phone. There's no application fee, and the chances are you'll have an approval by Tuesday. So if you want to refinance your home, call the Money Store this weekend at 1-800-LOAN-YES. That's 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Siskel and Ebert's Video Pick of the Week, brought to you by Orville Redenbacher, the first and last name in popcorn.
Now it's time for our Video Pick of the Week, and my choice this week is Silver Lake Life, The View from Here, a powerful documentary about a couple of AIDS patients that is not easy to watch, and so it's not conventionally entertaining, but I must recommend it because it's unrelentingly honest in its portrait of 2 men, lovers, who contract AIDS and their daily struggle to get by.
It's so tough. The simplest 5-minute task. You have to come to the car and lie down and put the seat back and rest and catch your breath. What a way to live. Huh. What a way to die.
First one does the filmmaking, and when he dies, his partner continues the project.
You're all over the place, Tom.
And when both men are dead, the film is completed by another friend.
God gave freedom for viruses to exist, and one of those viruses causes AIDS. It doesn't mean that God sends AIDS or any other sickness. Bad things do happen to good people.
What I like best about Silver Lake Life, The View from Here, is that it takes us inside living with AIDS like no other film I've seen. We regard the bodies and the minds in close-up, as the movie makers dare us to look away. Here we are, says this extraordinary movie. Here are our sores. This is what AIDS looks like. And this film has been a Film Festival prize winner, but now it's available on videotape. Silver Lake Life, my video pick of the week. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs down for Radioland Murders. It's better art direction than a story here, and that's why the comedy doesn't work. 2 thumbs up for Darnell Martin's inner city drama, I Like It Like That, with 2 wonderful central performances from John Cena and Lauren Velez. 2 thumbs up for Woody Allen's Bullets Over Broadway, with a classic character played by Chaz Palminteri stealing the show. 2 thumbs up, way up, for Harvey Keitel's work in the family drama Imaginary Crimes. And finally, 2 more thumbs up for Clerks, an offbeat film about the agonies and ecstasies of working in a convenience store. And Roger, there's a theme running through some of our criticism lately, and that is we like the natural dialogue.
We like dialogue that is colorful and interesting to listen to,
and feels
and realistic,
real.
yes, and we like characters that are thought about as more than just the pawns of the plot. That's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with reviews of more new movies, including Stargate, starring Kurt Russell and James Spader as interstellar explorers, and The Road to Wellville with Bridget Fonda and Matthew Broderick getting some unconventional treatment from turn-of-the-century diet guru Anthony Hopkins. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
If you'd like to save up to 50% on your contact lenses, eyeglasses, and eye exams, call for a free Lens Express catalog and find out how you can start saving right away. It's America's favorite jelly bean, Jelly Belly, now appearing at theaters and video stores with good taste. Jelly Belly beans, try them, you'll love them. Quit chewing tobacco with Mint Snuff All Mint Chew. Mint Snuff is made from mint, not tobacco. For a store near you, call 1-800-EAT-MINT. Hooked on Phonics teaches you to read using flashcards, music, and books. It's colorful, musical, and fun. Learn to read with Hooked on Phonics. Call 1-800-ABCDEFG. Some